Part 8, we get into Trump sycophants and Jordan's hour to 5 that he spent with each of these individuals.
As I have personally met Musk and the other group members several times, with the exception of VP candidate Vance, with whom a podcast is currently being scheduled. Let's begin our analysis with Mr. Elon Musk, the Tony Stark billionaire, although, importantly, without the arms dealing.
We understand that Tony Stark isn't real, right?
Before diving in, however, one final important fact should be noted pertaining to the former president. The Donald is evidently willing to share the spotlight with Musk and, apparently, to listen to what the eccentric but stunningly capable and clearly genius level intellect former South African has to say.
There's almost it's too much back to back. You're just fawning over Musk, not like offering a description of who you think he is, combined with just a fact about his, like, where he's from. And then it's all speculation related to the nature of their relationship. You have no clue what Trump is or isn't listening to. And for all of the people who've previously worked with him, or the vast majority, he famously does not listen to other people, or does so for such a brief period of time that they get frustrated and keep trying to box him in, and that's a whole job unto itself. So now, because Musk has shown up and is offered millions and millions of dollars to try to help buy the election for Trump, you're under this weird story about the nature of their dynamic and just how influential Musk must be with Trump, and now Trump's ability to quote unquote share the spotlight, as though it's like some finite amount of room that they both have to like squeeze into or something. I don't understand, again, the initial framing of this whole exercise.
A cynic might opine that the former president is merely capitalizing on the additional attention his dalliance with Musk might bring him.
Because it's cynical to say Trump is doing once more what he has done with everybody who's looked to enable him or achieve something through him being in power versus someone else who might hold them more accountable. That is, by definition, cynical, not just observant.
I would object, however, as a clinician, on twin grounds. First, if Trump truly were narcissistic, Musk might be the last person with whom he would dally. The latter.
Weird speculation. One, presuming that Trump isn't narcissistic, which I do not feel has been established at all. And then two, acting as though narcissists wouldn't flock together for their own narcissistic reasons. And apparently you need a clinician's opinion to really sell this view.
Musk rivals or exceeds him in fame and power, and definitely surpasses him in sheer genius. That is not a situation that a truly self-centered and power-mad dictator in waiting is likely to appreciate.
Because Peterson says so.
Second, with regard to garnering attention, the genuine narcissist is someone unlikely to believe that anyone else is likely to bring anything of value to the table, not already in display in consequence of their own boundless and singular specialness.
Let's think about this framing too. Genuine narcissist. Apparently distinguished from just a narcissist. And then we have to go and pretend that narcissism is not going to entail all of the self-interested ideas that one might have aligning themselves with an enthusiastic for them billionaire. Fantastic.
On to Elon himself. First and foremost, the world's premier engineer and inventor. is a man clearly and
It's my understanding that he's not actually an engineer nor inventor. He's more investor. He's more driving marketing force and operations guy. I'm sure people more familiar with Elon lore in details can affirm or deny that. But again, when you're just showering infinite praise upon people and trying to suggest that this is the environment, it doesn't actually matter what they are specifically, as opposed to what sounds the nicest or most grandiose.
demonstrably capable of doing 6 impossible things at the same time.
Just that framing, they're obviously possible. He showed that they were possible. It's like people thinking it's impossible to break the 4-minute mile until it's possible. Just because you call it impossible, make it more fantastic, more hyperbolic. Come on.
This speaks primarily of his intelligence. Musk is exceptionally 1 in a billion high in general cognitive ability and openness, a true genius.
And again, the way that he's talking about it suggests that it's equivocal to something else like wisdom, something else like what we should all want to be like, or we should all aspire to be, or something that we should envy and emulate in the ways that he has, which is just wrong and dangerous.
Albeit in the technical manner. That is an observation, not a criticism. With regard to personality, he's not particularly extroverted, tilting, I would say, in the opposite direction, although not exceptionally so. He is moderate in neuroticism, carrying a fair burden of depression-like pain with him, not least because of a truly rough childhood, which he alludes to but does not make a show of.
Now, again, all of these incredibly clear, coherent, patiently meted out observations are just that, observations. He's not diagnosing him, he's not grading him. This is Jordan's opinion presented very efficiently because he's got his license, he's got his background in what he's studied, and so through sheer force of will and observation and handful of interactions, this is what he can extrapolate with this much confidence.
There is some withdrawal there, run roughshod over by his brilliance and openness, and also some volatility evidenced in his behavior on X online.
Some volatility.
Somewhat reminiscent of Trump himself. Musk is also a worker and manager, hard and dedicated, far beyond the norm. So exceptionally high in conscientiousness and agreeable enough, particularly on the compassionate side, to be very pro-human.
This whole, showing a tweet as evidence of whatever he's saying in a moment is fascinating, because this is the same person that would excoriate you for taking things that he has said or pigeonholing particularly cringy or questionable points that he has made outside of his lane and going, oh, no, 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 it wasn't this explicit thing you're charging me with. There's this whole world of abstracted blah, blah, blah that I was speaking to with that. And but somehow it makes sense to take singular tweets to reinforce his perception of somebody else when it's in the affirmative. I good job, not just generally existing in that glaring contradictory way.
He is, however, no pushover, is not particularly polite, and can and does make the difficult judgments of discrimination that allow him to continually operate and maintain multiple, extremely large, demanding, stunningly diverse, and truly cutting-edge enterprises. His
He bought Twitter. He didn't invent Twitter.
staggering intelligence and business acumen means that he brings something near miraculous to the Trump X-Men team. I would...
Again, this hyperbolic near miraculous. It's inconceivable. It's impossible. It's near miraculous. It's not. It's all very conceivable. It all exists, again, in this continuum, in this context. and is actually better defined than you want it to be, because then it would take the light off of your strong man. Ugh.
Vote for Trump as president if I could vote, and I can't because I'm Canadian, and forgive me for that. Just because Musk has agreed.
That's another huge point. You have a lot of really strong opinions about American politics, and how we should be feeling living under the consequences of his decision making and our media apparatus and what to do with the rhetoric. And you, Canadian, who have opined very heavily on the stuff with Trudeau and whatnot, like now you feel, again, well beyond your lane, that you're going to take your authoritative, all eyes on you place and apply it here.
To play a role in any new administration that Trump might bring about. He has even wittily proposed to head up a new Department of Governmental Efficiency.
This one is just classic bullshit government fear mongering, and not to say that governments don't have waste, but no one does the accounting deep, and no one knows the shit that happens when you cut people from vital fucking places, like Musk learned in no longer moderating fucking Twitter appropriately. So great, let's do the same thing to government.